Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday episode of Daily Betslip. Myself, Donnavan Smoot.
What's up?
What's up, dude? What's going on?
Going great. What's on the show today? What we doing?
We are talking Major League Baseball. We're going to talk a little NFL as well. We have our upset picks locked in for NFL Week 3. Donovan, also we have the community's best bets for NFL Week 3 as well. So a little NFL, mostly Major League Baseball though, because it is a Wednesday, so there's nothing else going on as of right now. Soon, it won't be too much longer. On Wednesdays, we'll have NBA and NHL to talk about, but not quite yet. We are in how many weeks left of the regular season in MLB? 2 weeks?
Yeah, about like
Ish.
10 plus days. Anywhere between 10 and 14, probably.
There you go. So we're almost done with the regular season of Major League Baseball. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Please, oh please, oh please. And also vote in the poll, because there is a Game of the Night poll. Game of the Night is Cardinals and Padres. The poll is still live on Twitter, and there should be one up on YouTube as well. So vote in that to tell us who to back tonight. I'm trying to remember what the poll was last night. It was Brewers and the Mets last night, and Community won. They were all on the Mets. Ben and I both on the Brewers. So Ben and I on the wrong side last night. Community was on the right side. But speaking of community, let's get into today's community picks, which I tweeted out looking for everyone's best NFL bets for this week. So we're going to be looking ahead to Sunday in most of the cases here, if not all of them. So let's go ahead and bring up the first community pick for this weekend. Not only are we going to start with Monday, we're going to start all the way not only are we going to talk about Sunday's games, this is going all the way ahead to Monday. The Giants and the Cowboys. Cole DeShazer at HC DeShazer is taking Giants -2.5. He says Cooper Rush doesn't catch lightning in a bottle twice, especially on a road rivalry game, especially in prime time. Donovan, I got to tell you, I don't know if Cooper Rush is as bad as we are assuming that he is. In his career so far, 7.7 yards per pass attempt, 60.6 completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and he has won both games that he has started. Thoughts on Cooper Rush?
I'm actually with you. This is one of my many upset picks that I had this week, and I actually have the Cowboys winning this game straight up. Listen, the Cowboys have won 9 of the last 10 matchups with the Giants, and one of those games that they won was with Andy Dalton coming in and replacing Dak Prescott. So they've done it with backups. They've done it for about 5 years now, just completely dominating them. And so you have the Giants who they played. They played Tennessee, fraudulent, and they played Carolina, who's also bad. So, and they've squeaked out these wins. So I think Dallas is getting a little underrated this week. So I'm with you on that.
Especially can't discount Cowboys defense, which has been one of the better units through the first 2 weeks. 6th in opponent yards per play, 3rd in sack percentage. They seriously got after Joe Burrow there in week 2. But best of luck to you, my friend. But it sounds like Donovan and I are on the opposite sides. Let's bring up the next community pick for this weekend's games. Chalk and Talk at the Chalk and Talk. Jets +4.5 is an interesting one. Speaking of the Bengals, Bengals still seem a little overrated to me, and the Jets a little underrated. Also, the Bengals actually lost away to the Jets last year on Halloween in the midst of a very good season. I was on the Jets the first 2 weeks. I'm going against them, though. I think I can't imagine that the Bengals are as bad as what they've played through the first 2 weeks. I know Joe Burrow's got sacked a ton, but they played 2 very good pass rushes. TJ Watt when he was healthy with the Steelers, and then the Cowboys pass rush last week. This is the first not-so-good pass rush that they get to face, so hopefully Joe Burrow will have some time. Donovan, you are a noted Joe Burrow hater, though, so I'm assuming you're going to be on the Jets.
First off, I'm not a Joe Burrow hater. I think that everybody should calm down a little bit, and everybody was anointing him as some top 5 quarterback and vaulting him over Lamar Jackson, and that's kind of where I draw the line. However, you and I, 2 for 2 today, we're on the same side here. I think Cincinnati wins in this game. I think they cover, especially at 4.5. I know earlier in the week it was at 5.5, and at that at that line, I really like Cincinnati. I think that they're going to bounce back. Again, I don't think that they're as bad as 0-2 and as bad as they've looked. So, look, the Jets needed a miracle to beat the Browns last week. So I think everything kind of, evens out this week, kind of regresses to the mean, and Cincinnati gets this one.
I will say I did call Joe Burrow the best quarterback in the NFL heading into this season. So,
And that's what I was saying to slow down on. If that's hate, okay, fine, I'm a hater.
I need him to pick things up, or else I'm going to. I've had a couple preseason hot takes that are already looking bad. Let's go ahead and break like my cold Super Bowl pick. Not great. Let's go ahead and bring up the third community pick for this weekend. Bill Seigan at Seigan 181. Washington. Philly Monday Night Football looked great in a spotlight game. Commanders. Come on, Bill. We've updated that name there. Crushed by the Lions. Extra day rest and divisional game. I'll give it a shot, even though it might be a square theory. So I don't hate the theory. He's selling high on the Eagles after that Monday Night Football win. I'm on the under in that game, so I don't have a take on the side because of that reason. I think the Eagles should beat Washington, but it is kind of a sell high spot. You are obviously an Eagles fan, Donovan. Thoughts on that one?
Die hard, go Birds. We are going. Yes, I'm saying we. We're going to beat Washington pretty handily for two reasons. One, we're the better team, and at least on the ground, the Eagles are the second best rushing team in the league right now, and so they're going to be able to kind of control the game on that front. And then secondly, even if you just look at the numbers, last year Washington in divisional games they were 2-3-1 against the spread. Even with a rest advantage, they were 0-1 against the spread. So this isn't necessarily a spot that Washington was fantastic in, and they don't have a lot of things really going in their favor in this way. You also have, we're getting into theories. You have Carson Wentz making his first start against the Eagles, and so obviously there's a lot of different pieces in Philadelphia now than when Carson was there. But if there's a team that kind of understands how to play Carson, it is going to be the Eagles. So I think that the Eagles win and they cover this week.
All right, there you go. So you're going against Saigan 181. Like I said, I don't have a take on the side, but I don't hate his logic. A little contrarian bet. I love contrarian bets. Go ahead and bring up the fourth pick for this weekend. Benny at Third and Ben. Panthers +3. He says you broke it down well in the podcast and taking the money line when it comes to the stats. Shout out Benny, Third and Ben, giving the Bacon Bets podcast a little show. Check that out after the show. But he says back against the wall, home divisional matchup, sitting at 0-2. Should be a tight game down the stretch. Lean the under 2. Yes, that was my first upset pick of the week. That is not the upset pick I'm going to give later on the show. I'm going to have a different one for then. But, I do like the Panthers. I think they win outright. Yes, they're 0-2. Quietly one of the best defenses in the NFL for the first 2 weeks, though. Specifically, they rank first in opponent yards per pass attempt. Now they get to take on a Saints defense or a Saints offense that looked atrocious in week 2 against the Buccaneers. And Jameis Winston is playing with a broken back. Not usually a recipe for success. Donovan, any thoughts on that
one? If you want to take the Panthers, okay, cool. I think this might be a game that I want to stay away from, but I think that if I had to make a pick, I would go against the Panthers. I think that they are. Yeah, I would. I think that the Saints end up getting this one. Look, the Panthers and I wrote this up at BetSided earlier this week. I think that the Panthers very easily could start the season 0-8. And so because they have the Saints, the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Rams, the Bucks, and then they play the Falcons the day before Halloween. And it's very possible they could lose all 6 of those games.
So the Falcons are counting as a loss, correct?
Yeah, I would. I think they would lose to the Falcons, I think, as well. So I'm not very high on Carolina, so I would go against them.
All right, so I believe that was the fourth one. I think we have one more pick for this weekend. Colts' perception of both teams in that game is off. Yes, I agree. I'm on the Colts to cover. Our very own Reed Wallach took them to win outright in our upset pick article that came out today. I didn't quite have the guts for that, but this is another buy low spot. I think I talked about that yesterday with the Colts, that you should buy low on them. They outplayed the Texans in week 1 despite playing to a draw. And against the Jaguars, I'm just going to hope that was their worst performance they're going to have all season. So, yeah, I like it. What are your thoughts on Colts Chiefs, Donovan?
If Michael Pittman plays, I think they cover. If he does not, I like the Chiefs to cover. I think if they don't have Michael Pittman, they are going to be extremely one-dimensional. I think Kansas City will be able to divert all of its resources to stop Jonathan Taylor. Whether or not that's going to like ultimately work is going to be a different thing, but they'll be able to slow them down. So I think this game kind of rests on Pittman's health and status.
Yeah, I will agree with that Michael Pittman take because when I was watching the Colts last weekend, their receivers stink. I started Paris Campbell in one of my fantasy leagues, hoping that he was going to step up
No
with
good.
Michael Pittman out. He put
No
up a goose egg, 0 points. So yeah, they need Michael Pittman back for sure. So there you have it. Those are our community best bets for week 3 of the NFL. Tomorrow we'll get community best bets for the Thursday night football game between the Browns and the Steelers. Let's give out our best bets for tonight. Now we got 3 Major League Baseball picks each. Donovan, why don't you start us off? What's your first best MLB bet for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going with the Guardians' first 5 money line in this one. It's at plus 122, and I'm backing this one because Tristan McKenzie's on the mound tonight. He's been fantastic for the Guardians, and in September he's 1-0. He has a 2.29 ERA. He normally goes past 5 innings as it is, but I don't really want to risk any type of comeback with the White Sox in this one. So I would just back McKenzie early. I'll take the first 5. Which I really like, especially at plus money.
Which new sports team name do you like better, the Guardians or Commanders?
Guardians easy. I think the Commanders is awful. I think Washington should have stayed with the football team. That's better than the Commanders.
I don't necessarily disagree. I wish Cleveland went with the Spiders because wasn't that their original name when the franchise first started? I like the Spiders.
That's also a better choice than the Guardians, but the Guardians is better than the Commanders.
I would agree. I'm not a big fan of Commanders. All right, my first MLB play for tonight. You're going to go with a favorite on the run line here. Pretty chalky, pretty square pick, but I think it's the right one. I'm going to take the Mariners on the run line against the Athletics here. The Athletics did upset them last night. The Mariners haven't been great in recent games, but I just can't justify backing the Athletics to win again. Dead last in OPS both this month and all season, so they are quite literally the worst offense in Major League Baseball, and now they get to take on Mariners ace Robbie Ray, who, yes, just like his team, the Mariners hasn't exactly been hot recently, but I think this is a good bounce back spot for him, and he's already been fantastic against the A's this season. He's played against them 3 separate times already, and he has a 2.41 ERA in those 3 games. So he's already had success against the A's. The A's offense is the worst in the majors. Seattle's got to hold on to this wild card spot. So I'll take the Mariners on the run line over the Athletics.
Okay. I like that. And I'll see your chalk and I'll raise you with even more chalk.
Let's hear it.
On my next pick, because I'm going with the Mets money line tonight. Minus 144 against the Brewers. The Mets they're rolling right now. They've won 6 straight. They are 4-1 straight up against the Brewers this year, and they still have something to play for because the Braves are right on their tail for the NL East title. And so down the stretch of the season, the Mets still have to go out and they still have to win games. Milwaukee is sending Adrian Hauser out on the mound today. He's 3-4 at home with a 3.73 ERA. I don't think that's going to be good enough to get it done. And he hasn't been able to stay on the mound, right? In 3 of his last 5 starts, he's been taken out before the 4th inning. So I think that this might be another quick day. And if it is, then I think that the Mets get this one.
All right, now I'm going to go with a total bet for my next one. I'm going to go with Blue Jays Phillies over 8.5. Blue Jays Phillies last night combined for 29 runs last night. At 18-11, the Blue Jays won, and I think we're going to see some more offense between these two teams again tonight because they have been 2 of the hottest offenses in the majors in the month of September. Toronto ranks 2nd in OPS in September at 801. Philadelphia ranks 5th in OPS at 780. Kevin Gausman gets a start for the Blue Jays. He has not been good recently. He's allowed 5 earned runs in 2 straight starts. Also has allowed at least 2 earned runs in 5 straight starts. So I would say that is concerning. And also Zach Wheeler also hasn't been good in recent starts. He's allowed 10 earned runs in his last 11.1 innings pitched. So yeah, I'm going to take a ton of runs to be scored again tonight. Last night there was 29. We only need 9 tonight. So Blue Jays, Phillies over 8.5. Donovan, I think you have a pitcher prop for your final bet. Let's hear it.
Yes, sir. I got Luis Severino under 4.5 strikeouts, plus 125. He's making his return off of the IL today, and I think that the Yankees are they're gonna manage him. I don't think that he's gonna come out and have some crazy long start. The playoffs start, like we said, in about 2 weeks. He's supposed to be a major part of their rotation, so they're probably just going to manage him and not really let him go too long. Also, on top of it, so we're going to throw out the last start in which he only went 2 innings, but he's missed his line in his last 2 starts. And then if you throw in the last one in which he went 2 innings, he's missing his last 3. So it's not something that I think is uncharacteristic. And one of those games that he missed it in was against these very same Pittsburgh Pirates. So we have a little bit of continuity there, along with him coming off the IL. I'll take the under here.
There you go, Luis Severino, under 4.5 strikeouts. Yankees and Pirates tonight. Pirates so close to pulling off the upset last night. Before that, Stanton grand slam, walk-off grand slam. I am going to go with an underdog for my final pick here. I'm going to take the Detroit Tigers to upset the Baltimore Orioles tonight on the money line. The Orioles, their dreams of a playoff spot are dwindling. Not much hope left. I think they're 5 games out, and their offense has kind of fallen off too. Orioles 20th in OPS since September 1st, only slightly above the Tigers in OPS this month, who ranked 23rd. And both bullpens solid, but they're right next to each other this season. 8th in bullpen ERAs, the Orioles. Tigers right behind them at 9th. So you got 2 teams whose offenses are very close, bullpens are very close. And Jordan Lyles has allowed 12 earned runs in his last 8.2 innings pitched. So I don't think the Orioles deserve being minus 152 favorites in this one tonight. So I'll take a shot on the underdog Tigers plus 128.
Okay, I like that.
Yes, okay, let's bring up the recap graphic here. I'm on Mariners, minus 1.5 tonight, over 8.5 between Blue Jays and Phillies. Tigers, plus 136, underdog money line there in that one. Donovan, Guardians, first 5, plus 120, plus 122. Unfortunately, Mets have already played. Let's ignore what the result in that one was, Donovan, and then under 4.5 strikeouts for Luis Severino when they take on the Pirates.
I never have a great sense of time. I look at all of these games before, and I see the time whenever I see them, and then whenever we're inputting them, I always just disregard the fact that oh yeah, we're probably gonna start the show after they've come. So wow.
I will say the other time that has happened, I know your bet won, so it didn't hurt as much. Unfortunately, this time it went against you, but that's okay. Let's move on to the segment where we are going to give out NFL upset picks. I can guarantee you these upset picks have not started yet, both on Sunday. I will give mine out first. You might have saw, if you follow me on Twitter, that on my first upset pick was the Panthers, and I mentioned earlier in the show as well, to beat the Saints. I also have another upset pick. It is time for me to back my baby boys, my Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to take them to beat the Seahawks outright. I'm also taking the Falcons in Survivor this week, which is a bold move, but you got to take crappy teams at some point in Survivor, and I think this is a good time to use a crappy team like the Falcons because I think they're going to beat up the Seahawks. Geno Smith in week 1 against the Broncos. Listen, that was a nice feel-good story. I was happy for Geno Smith, but there's a reason why he's not – well, he is a starter in the NFL, but why he hasn't been a starter in the NFL for the past few years, and we saw that last week as well. He's just not that great. He threw 31 times last game. They only ran the ball 14 times. The reason why I kind of like the Seahawks heading into this season was because they can run the ball, but they're not doing it. 14 times they carried the ball last week. That's not enough for this team. You can't win by getting Geno Smith to throw the ball 31 times, especially because now he's got to throw against two of the better corners, two of the better duo of corners in the NFL, and A.J. Terrell and Casey Hayward. And the Falcons have actually looked solid in the first 2 weeks. Yes, they're 0-2, but they are 2-0 against the spread. They cover the spread in both games. Drake London had an amazing week 2 game. Mariota's looked decent. Their defense still stinks, but now they get to face a pretty bad offense in the Seahawks. So I will take my Falcons to get their first win of the season. Let's go. plus 120 or plus 108, I guess, are the odds now. When I locked it in, it was plus 120 earlier in the week, but still like it at plus money because I think they should be favored in this game.
Okay, I don't hate it. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I really don't care if the Falcons win or lose this week. I care. Kyle Pitts needs to step up because that is my only concern with the Falcons this week. He's messing up my fantasy team, man. I need you to make the call. I need you to make the call and let him get 10 targets.
I'll give Arthur Smith a call right after the show. I'll let him know.
Thank you.
All right,
that's all I ask.
All right, let me hear your upset pick for week 3.
I'm going with another winless team. I'm taking the Texans money line against the Bears. And before the season, I thought that the Bears were going to be in the running for the worst team in the league. I thought that they had a chance to maybe surprise Green Bay in week 2 and get a win there. They were not able to capitalize on that. They ended up losing by 17. And now they play a Texans team that has covered in both games. Davis Mills is looking okay, but where I think Houston is going to be able to win this game is the fact that the Bears have the worst rushing defense in the league, and so I think Dameon Pierce and Rex Burkhead will both be impact players. On top of that, Chicago's passing offense it's a mess, right? The Bears ranked 32nd in attempts, 28th in yards per pass, 32nd in passing yards per play. They're going to be one-dimensional, and I think that Houston is going to be able to get just a little bit of pressure on Justin Fields. Darnell Mooney has been absolutely just non-existent through the first 2 games of the season. So if the Texans can keep him that way, and if they can keep him quiet, then I think that they end up with the win in this one.
I like that as well. I'm taking Texans plus the points. I didn't take them to win outright, but basically what we're doing here is we're looking at 2 absolute toilet bowls of games between 4 terrible teams, and we're just going to take the underdog to win outright, which I kind of like that strategy because who knows what's going to happen in these toilet bowl games. Before we move on, Donnavan, I'm going to read off some big underdogs this week, and let me know which of these, if you had to choose, would you bet on over the others. So you got Colts plus 215, Lions plus 205 against the Vikings, Commanders plus 240 against the Eagles, or Jaguars plus 245 against the Chargers.
I'm going with the Lions easy. I don't get how this is that big of a difference. The last 3 games between the Lions and the Vikings have been decided by 2 points. Like each game has been decided by 2 points. They play each other extremely close, and Detroit looks very, very good to start the season. So I will take Detroit to win straight up.
Yeah, those games I listed were the teams that were listed at either 2-1 or longer odds to win this week. Those are the big underdogs. So you would say Lions is a big underdog pick. Even though I'm not on it, I'd say Colts. I'm going to stick with the Colts.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Colts down to 5.5. I'm actually seeing. Wow, that spread is moving the opposite direction as most people would think. Interesting. All right, let's dive into the final segment here. Game of the night. It is the St. Louis Cardinals. It is the San Diego Padres. Padres trying to hold on to that NL wildcard spot. Cardinals have all but locked up the NL Central. So let's dive into our best bets for this game. It is Miles Michaelis against Blake Snell. Donnavan, what's your best bet for the game of the night?
I'm going with the Cardinals money line in this one. I'm taking them as the underdogs. And look, St. Louis, they are 3-1 straight up against the Padres this season. They're 39-22 straight up coming off of a loss this year. They don't really let bad performances pile up. And so I think that they're going to be able to come out and get the win tonight, especially. So, yeah, I think that the Cardinals are the right pick tonight.
All right, I'm going to go with a pitching prop for my favorite bet. Usually I stick to a side or a total for game of the night, but I love this pitching prop. I'm going to go Blake Snell under 6.5 strikeouts at minus 118 because the Cardinals have the second lowest strikeout rate against left-handed pitchers this season, striking out on only 19% of plate appearances. That number has gotten significantly lower than that just this month. In September, a strikeout rate of 13.3%. That is it. Against left-handed pitchers in September. Blake Snell has pitched once against the Cardinals already this season, and he got 6 strikeouts in 6 innings, just under his set total tonight of 6.5. So Blake Snell under 6.5 strikeouts, minus 118. What were the poll results? Do we have the poll results for tonight? I'll look it up really quick. A tie on Twitter between the Cardinals and the over. I can't see the YouTube results. I wonder if the YouTube results broke the tie. And yes, the YouTube results broke the tie. It is the over. The community best bet for tonight, over 7.5. So there we go. Nobody is on the same side this time. Donovan, you are on the Cardinals. I am on a pitching prop, and the community. The Cardinals. No, the community is on the Cardinals. Sorry. So the you and the community are on the same time, are on the same side, both on the Cardinals tonight. But the Twitter poll tied with the over and the Cardinals, both at 30% of votes. So it's going to be a good game tonight, Cardinals, Padres. And that is our show.
Yes, sir. I'm glad that the community are on the same side. I feel like we've gone against each other fairly often recently. So I'm glad to make up with the community.
The community won last night, so hopefully they can keep that streak going. I just need Blake Snell to go under a strikeout total, and I am happy. But that is our show. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. Tomorrow, I'll be back for my final episode of Daily Betslip of the week. It'll be myself and Peter Dewey, and I will have a special guest, Minty Betts, will be joining me tomorrow to talk football, to talk Thursday night football between the Browns and the Steelers. And also be sure to check out the early read if you want to get some college football picks for this weekend. And the President's Cup starts tomorrow, so you can watch yesterday's special episode of Green on the Greens with myself and Cody Williams. Donovan, any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
No, I think we're good.
All right, there you go. Good stuff.
Head empty, no thoughts right now.
Perfect. All right. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck with your bets tonight. Gamble or bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow.